what to be mindful of before starting. So a couple things that we'll be covering today, and this is myself, Lyles Armour. I've been with ResTrain for about 6 years. I work within the design department, assisting our marketing as well as design clients on their website needs. As it relates to the presentation today, we'll be going over making the investment, trying to understand when it's the right time to do that, determining how to measure if this new website provides SEO value, and then just trying to dive into the different options that you have when it comes to selecting your website solution. So without further ado, let's again jump right in here. When is it time to make the investment in a new website? To buy or not to buy, that's the question. And to get things started, I do have a poll question for you guys. Bear with me, let me get this loaded here. And I'll go ahead and launch that poll question. You should now have it on your screen here. The poll question is, are you thinking about buying a new website? A quick answer is yes, you want to own it, meaning you want to pay for it and not have to worry about ongoing costs. Yes, renting it sounds good. You're open to a monthly subscription, maybe a lower fee, but you maybe don't fully own it. No, maybe you don't have it in the budget, or you don't think that there's room in the budget for it. Or no, your website's doing fine, and maybe you're just here to maybe try and learn a little bit more and make sure you're on track for a quality website. So I'll give it some time for you guys to go ahead and place your votes here. We'll give it a couple more seconds. All right, and we'll close the voting now. And then I'll go ahead and share these results with you guys so you can take a peek. The majority of you, at least at this point in time, say no, your current website works just fine. So for those of you who feel confident in your website, I want you to use this webinar as a reference point, a checklist, so you can go back in your website and say, how can I improve it furthermore to drive more bookings, to get the conversion rates I'm looking for, to enhance the usability on the website. For those of you who say yes, you want to own it, again, maybe you're in the process of looking for a new website. Purchasing a website is a good way to, over a long haul, maybe reduce the cost. However, it usually does tend to cost more upfront. So again, just making sure you have room for that in the budget. So again, when it comes to determining when it's the right time to make an investment on your website, there's a variety of different telltale signs or symptoms that give you an indicator, okay, I either need to improve my website, hire an agency to take your words ad and add some additional things, or I've had my website for so long, it's just time for me to bite the bullet and really invest into something new. So a couple of things here that you'll see as it relates to some of the symptoms as it relates to an outdated website. Maybe you have poor SEO metrics. If you have bounce rates above 40%, then that means people aren't finding what they're looking for. They're getting to your website, but when they get there, it's not what they want. It just didn't pair up with what they were searching for. Low number of new sessions. So how many new visitors are you attracting? How much new business are you obtaining through your website? Low conversion rates. Again, you're getting people to your website, but maybe the structure is not sound. The call to actions aren't in the right place. The content might be stale, so people aren't really converting and booking directly through your website. Couple other things that really impact the decision of whether or not you need to get a new website is maybe you're not driving enough direct bookings, and instead you're paying commission fees, working with third-party agencies and having them kind of generate that traffic for you. However, you're not getting the full piece of the pie, so that's definitely a pain point. Maybe your business is changing, you've remodeled, you've added some additional units, you've got a new logo, different colors, and those different things. Again, it could be as easy as just updating your current website, or you can just do a complete revamp and a redesign over it. Maybe you have just technical issues, missing metadata, header tags, domain errors. All of those things do hinder your ability to create and more traffic, thus then having more people book directly with you and driving more revenue. So if any of those things stand out for you, or if you're trying to understand what different data points you should look at that would indicate you need a new website or should modify your website, here's a lot of different things that you should pay attention to. And before we move on here, one of the bigger things is having a mobile website. 60+% of people visit their mobile device as far as conducting their search. So if your website's not user-friendly, if it can't be found, then you're losing out on a large segment of people who are interested in learning more about your property but just can't find it, or it's a poor usability issue and they end up just leaving. So think about those different things here as it pertains to trying to identify those symptoms. A couple other things we'll jump into here are 3 different ways that you could prepare for a new website. So once you've more or less kind of identified the symptoms, or maybe you're trying to figure out how can you identify the symptoms, we'll go over a couple different options for you. So the first thing you're going to want to do is implement tracking tools. It's really hard to dictate what type of changes you need to make or how you need to improve your website if you don't currently understand how it performs today. So Google Analytics will give you a better understanding of visitor metrics. Where are people coming from? How are they finding you? What pages do they like? What pages don't they like? Where are they converting at the higher rate than other pages? It also has the opportunity to tie in the revenue tracking. So now you can see exactly the % of people who book through your organic channel versus your paid channel versus your referral channel or direct channel. So having that information helps you understand when people make it to your website, what are they looking for, how are they navigating. So when you're laying out a new website or adjusting or updating your current website, you know what those important areas are that you should be mindful of. Google Webmaster Tools is more of it's a health check on your website. It will look for domain errors, 404, broken pages, broken links. It more or less just looks for those things that underneath the hood could be hindering the performance of your website. Google Analytics, Google Webmaster Tools, you guys are probably more familiar with those or have heard them. They're both free, so I encourage all of you guys to get those added onto your websites if you don't already have them. Some additional advanced things that, again, help you really understand what you might want to do with the website as you're looking to upgrade it is Crazy Egg. Crazy Egg is a heat mapping or a scroll mapping tool that will visually show you the hot spots on your website. So this is a great way to measure, do you have your booking engine widget in the right place? Do you have calls to actions in the stopping points where people need a break as far as reading through the content? It also helps you understand if you have those items in the wrong place or adding them to the right place. So again, it gives you a real visual traffic map of where do people look, where do they navigate to when they're looking to take a desired action, where are they clicking. That's a very good tool to use to get an understanding there. And then also another thing is event tracking. So this is more or less measuring clicks. Are people clicking on your contact link more than they're clicking on your activities link? That will help you understand, well, if people aren't as interested in my activities, then I should put more time in my contact page because they're really interested in getting a hold of me. So maybe I need to add more information there about my business, about my property, about how I differentiate myself with another property nearby. So having those different data points are important. I do want to highlight that I have another webinar that I did a couple months ago, Design Tools for Beginners. So that is a webinar that highlights all the various tools that you can use as an owner, a website manager, to try and get a better understanding of how your website performs and how you can measure those results. The second thing that you're going to want to do after you've kind of, established that you're ready to, update your website is create a content sitemap. So the content sitemap just helps you organize and understand the content and the depth of your website. How many pages is it? What sections do you want to have on the website? When you have that content sitemap in place, It gives you the opportunity to establish, again, the overall structure of your site, what pages, what child pages do you want to have. It helps you outline the content goals and calls to action. So there are various pages on your website that might have specific needs. An example, obviously, is maybe the room sections. When they get to that room page, the ultimate goal is for them to book with you and give you their money. So making sure that if you outline the different pages on your site, understand how important those pages are to your business, it also then helps you understand the different calls to actions and the different ways in which you need to engage with that visitor to make sure that they're booking directly through your website. And then again, it also gives you the ability to understand the feature set. So if you have a room section where you offer a variety of amenities, one of those features that you may want on your website is a search feature or a filter feature. You want to allow people to narrow down all of your 50 units or 20 units into their top 5 based off of, is it pet friendly? Does it have a jacuzzi? And is there a fireplace in the room? So those type of features, again, after you understand the sections and the pages, it helps you narrow down what you need out of your website to really drive the end results you're looking for. And the third thing that you'll want to be mindful of is establishing the budget. Sometimes this is the hardest part because all you see is a dollar that you have to allocate to something that right away you may not get the immediate return on. And what I mean by that, it's not a handshake, it's more of a long-term relationship. So you do end up paying up front, and then over the course of a year, 2, 3, 4 years, you really see that investment on that website. So when it comes to that, you really want to think about the design, how important is the look to you, being unique in your area versus your competitors. The content, do you want to be a very visual-based website with images and videos? Do you want to be very short and concise with bullet points and text? Do you want to have a variety? And then I kind of mentioned it before, the functionality. How do you want it to function when people make it to your website? Is it a parallax scrolling page? Do you have a lot of features where they can leave reviews and testimonials and build their own pricing quotes, or have details as far as different packages, opportunities, and things like that on the website? So after you, again, get a broader understanding of how those things perform, and you take a step back and identify what you want to do and what your goals are moving forward, then you'll start to dwindle down your budget into what it may be. So those things are extremely important, and I'll kind of show you a small budget, if you will, and a return at a later date here in the presentation. So the next thing, again, as we move through, is now that we've kind of understand what it takes to make the investment, what all goes into that, and then when you're ready, just kind of being prepared for the next step. Another part of that next step is measuring if this new website is going to maximize your SEO potential. So internet marketing, SEO, and your websites go hand in hand. So it's important that your next website or your current website is mindful of the impact that it has on your website's performance in the different search engines. So again, as we move into another section here, I do have another poll question for you guys. Bear with me here as I load that up for you. And this poll question is directly related to your search engine optimization. So when was the last time your website was search engine optimized? Either you have an agency you work with, or you know someone who knows marketing. They did a thorough scan of your website. They did an audit for keywords. They did new content for you, updated title tags and meta tags. They then reviewed those data points after implementing them to see the successes or downfalls of whatever they may have implemented to make the appropriate changes. So when was the last time that you guys have had an opportunity to do that with your website? Never. Maybe you just got a new website. It's a new investment for you. Maybe that's the next step you want to take. Maybe you did it years ago and you had a sour feeling about it. It didn't go as planned, or you just didn't understand the value or see the value. Maybe you did it at the beginning of the year and I think I have a typo in there, forgive me, and you haven't done it since, so you saw some positive gains, but maybe you got into your busy season, guests and internal things, keeping people happy took priority, or maybe you did it within the last 6 months. So you've at least touched it maybe once or twice this year and know that you've got some work done. So I think I've chatted enough here. Let me go ahead and close the polls, and I'll share the results with everyone, and we'll chat about those briefly here. So the good thing is that everyone's at least done it once. So that is extremely positive. What I encourage you guys to do is just continue to make that investment and find the right time where it fits for you in the budget. Third of you said years ago, so I'm assuming that means 2 years or more. Maybe you just don't have the budget for it. Maybe again you didn't have the you didn't see the return on investment. Maybe you weren't working with the right agency that really took your business needs at value and really worked towards your goals. Then there's a good set of you that said at the beginning of the year. So maybe you have a program where you do it once a year. Maybe, again, you just got busy, things fell off, and then the rest of you guys have done it frequently. So for those of you who have done it within the last 6 months, my hope or my assumption is you're probably one of those who understand the value and you do it on an ongoing basis because you're paying the same dollar whether you get 300 people to your website or 5,000 people to the website. So the quality of that SEO and what you're putting there, you don't have to pay per visitor. You get it no matter what you have. So kudos to you all there. Again, what I want to point out here is there's just, again, the importance of those two things. A new website works hand in hand with how compatible it is from an SEO standpoint to help drive those end results you're looking for. So I did go through a lot of you guys who signed up. I went to your website, I clicked around. A lot of you guys have pretty good sound websites from a visual standpoint. And a lot of times, you know, that's what you may get caught on when it comes to purchasing a new website. These things in here, I want to make sure that, again, you revisit, reach out to your webmaster, your account manager, whoever it is, and say, hey, can you just verify that I have these things in place on my website? For those of you who are getting a new website, these are things that I would recommend you try and hold your vendor to obtaining and reaching for you because they're going to yield better results for you. So make sure you've got tracking, make sure your URLs are search engine friendly. Do you have metadata, title, descriptions, and keywords? Do you have the flexibility to manage that yourself if need be? Is it responsive, and are you getting that revenue tracking in place so you know where your dollar is going and how much you're driving and generating? From a technical standpoint, these are really big for, you know, the search engines, the speed, how quick and how fast does it perform? Google speed test, they give you a green or a passing grade at 85 points or higher. They do that on a page-by-page basis for both your mobile device website as well as your desktop. Do you have sitemaps? Are you telling Google the pages you have on your website and where they can find them? Are you making it easy for them? Structured data, which is additional markup that just makes your search engine listing more attractive when people do find you. Do you have a content management system? Again, do you have control over your website to make changes, add photos, swap out content, update rates? All of those things are important. And then one of the more recent things that Google, as they dominate the industry, have done is your website secure? Is it HTTPS friendly? They are favoring those websites who show up to be secure versus those who don't. And they're taking it to another level of those people who are not secure sites. If you have a third-party form on your website, a newsletter sign up and so forth, they'll actually present an error that says this is not a secure website for transferring data. So from a user, they see that, they may, you know, pause for moving forward with your website as they may not see it secure. So it's extremely important. And then a booking engine, do you have one? Are you creating friction by not having one where people have to call you or fill out a form and wait for you to follow up? Do you have the call to action that are encouraging people to book? Do you have widgets in place that make it easier for them to book? see the availability, see the rate. So again, once they make it there, it's easier for them to commit to that purchase because there isn't any friction. So those are some very sound basics that a lot of you have. Some are missing pieces here or there. Some of these things are easier to implement or to address. So again, reaching out to your vendor to have them and challenge them in those areas is something I would recommend. The next thing is just kind of looking at some advanced things. So in today's market, with the way that technology is and all the different competitors out there, they're always looking for a way to kind of improve. So today, what you kind of see out of different website offerings is they offer some type of internet marketing. Maybe it's a one-time, they optimize your site. Maybe it's a very lower-end automated solution to where they help you kind of guide you in an area of where your keywords and your description should be. Or maybe you have an ongoing monthly deep dive, program in place to where you're working with an account manager and a team, and they know your goals as far as your business and your property, and they're in line with helping you achieve those every step of the way. Do you get automated performance reporting? So those are things they're looking for, making sure that you're aware of how things are performing, how the data looks. So those are all important for you as you kind of go through that. So the other thing that we'll kind of touch base on here as we kind of navigate through, and forgive me, I think you guys were a couple slides back there, but I'll take a step back here and just kind of recap this slide here as I realize you guys weren't able to see that. So this was the one where, again, these are the basic things that you guys should have on the websites. Again, as I scanned your websites, I saw a lot of you had these things in place. Some were missing some small items, some were missing some big items. Nonetheless, these are things that you can easily implement right now, or make sure that when you're getting a new website, they're all in place. And then again, the advanced things that you'd be looking for, the internet marketing, the automated reports, technology updates. So as a property owner, maybe you don't want to be so concerned with, is my website updated for browser compatibility, for all those different things that change that are out of your control. Do you want to be responsible for it, or do you want to have an agency or someone in place who's mindful of those things and takes care of it for you? Is there third-party flexibility? Does it work with my booking engine? I have a third-party OTA connection I need to integrate directly in. Maybe you have a shopping cart where you sell additional branded items for revenue. So those are all come into play. And then obviously support. Do you have people there for you, or are you on your own? So as it relates to new websites and what people are getting out of their websites in today's market, those are some of the things that are usually baked in, or you should be mindful of when you're narrowing down your options. Here, I want to show you guys, and you'll forgive me because these are all make-believe numbers, if you will. They do have some real data points behind them. As I kind of looked over our clients, their marketing programs, website costs, and what I did is I grabbed the high end just so you guys can kind of get an understanding of maybe what it may look like when you make that investment for a website, and maybe even add on internet marketing. So average cost of a website, we'll just say about $5 grand. This is probably not a fully featured, fully loaded website. This is the bare necessities, lodging, website, everything you need to get your visitors to book. The marketing program in here it's more of a high end. You have an account manager, they're working with you, they understand your business needs, your pains, your goals, and they're working throughout the year to help you reach those. So after you've put in those for the cost of the year, it's coming out to about 20 grand. When it comes to your website and your internet marketing, at least for what we know it will directly impact is usually your organic channel. People who go in direct know your brand, know your domain, so they're going to go there no matter what. People who go through the organic channel are those people who found you, which means you needed to have some type of marketing in place, and then when they got to your website, it was convert friendly, meaning the calls to actions, the content, it was responsive, it was secure, they were able to book with you. So in looking across the board, on average, over the course of a year, give or take rooms, ADR, et cetera, the organic channel was able to drive in annually about 300 grand. After 20% overhead is just, again, an arbitrary number I'm throwing out there. And you're paying for electricity, maybe an employee, other miscellaneous things at about 60 grand. You're bringing in a revenue of about 240, which is an 80% ROI. So that return on that small investment is extremely important because that gives you room to either allocate to remodeling, renovations, improving, or investing more into your marketing so you can drive more traffic. Or it means going back to your website, and maybe you had goals in mind for phase one, year one of your website, but once you were able to reach those financial numbers, now you can go in and add the second tier to your website. I want to add my shopping cart now. I want to add my gift store. And I want to also be able to have a virtual tour on my room. So once you make that investment, you know that it's sound, you have those basic core fundamental SEO things in place, that ROI works for you. What's nice about this is once you've paid for your website, especially for those who want to own it, that website cost goes away in year two and your return on investment is greater. Same thing with your internet marketing. Maybe you didn't want to do internet marketing. You want that to stay alone. Obviously, your return may be a little bit less, but again, you still get that return based off what you're looking for. So again, the point I wanted to make here is while, yes, there is a cost, it is more seen as an investment because over the course of 2 or 3 years, you're going to get that ongoing revenue coming from that website that you set up. And I would like to believe that most of you have had your website, maybe your current one 2 years or max, and then some of those older ones you've had it for 3 or 4 years. So that return on investment, when sound, when thought through, can be very impactful for your business. All right, so we're getting into the home stretch here. I have another poll question for you as we jump into determining the best solution for your property. I'll go through 3 different website offerings that you may have ran into or you may have been researching, maybe you didn't know anything about. We'll cover those and dive into some details. But again, before I do, let me load up the next poll question for you. Last one of the day here. What is your ideal annual budget for a new website? So I know you guys are obviously, hopefully, planning for 2018. You're looking at everything that you did this year. Maybe you have some goals in mind that you couldn't reach because other things just kind of, took precedence. But in a perfect world, based off of what you know today, what's your budget? Is it less than $2,000 for the year? Anywhere between $2 to $4 grand for the year? Or is it $5 grand plus? And maybe in that case, you want a fully functioning, loaded website. It's been some time. You've remodeled, rebranded yourselves, and you really need to make that investment that's going to carry through for 3-4 years. So we'll bear with it here, and I'll give it a couple more seconds, and we'll let the voting close here. All right, looks like we've got 100% of people in. Let's go ahead and close and share the results here. So 30% of you are looking at paying less than $2 grand a year. For those of you who selected that option, what that usually means is you're looking for a do-it-yourself website. You probably, or excuse me, you may not be concerned with the look and feel, the features and functions. You just need a website and you need it to be modern, something that you can use. So that's usually where that realm is. Those of you who said the $2 to $4 grand, you're either looking for a templated theme solution, so where they've got a whole bunch of options for you that they've already thought about, they've already worked through, they know work for you, they convert for you. You either might pay an outright cost at a discount price, or you're on that monthly model to where maybe it's $50, $150, $200 a month to have that website. Usually in those cases, you get hosting and all those things. For those of you who said $5,000 and up, you're probably looking for a custom website, and that usually means your brand, your uniqueness means a whole lot more to you than anything else. You want to be seen differently than your competitors, and that is what people know you for. It may also mean that you have specific features and functionality that you know you need that serves your market the best, that gets them to book and buy directly with you. So All of these things are good things. There's varieties, and obviously knowing your budget and knowing those different breakpoints in the budgets will really kind of help you understand the section we're headed into as far as your different options. So as it relates to moving into the different options that you have, again, we've looked at, determining when you need to make the investment. What are those telltale signs? What are those pain points that can say, hey, I need to look at my website? We obviously went ahead and touched on, just kind of being prepared for what to be mindful of, the different things that come up there. And so as you look through that, it's obviously now trying to get down to what are the goals? Right before you commit, what are you looking to do? What is the reason you're getting a new website? Do you want more direct bookings? Are you trying to attract more mobile visitors? Are you trying to reduce operational costs? So maybe you're paying a whole bunch of different fees. You don't have a booking engine and commissions and this and that. And by getting that website, driving people to you directly, you can reduce the cost. Maybe you have a good website today, it looks nice, but people aren't converting at a high rate. It could easily mean you're not targeting the right audience from your marketing standpoint, or your website is not laid out in a book-friendly format. Do you want to manage your own website? So again, maybe you just need more control and you're tired of waiting for your agency, your vendor to get in touch with you, or maybe you just work over the weekends. Do you need more pages? Do you understand that the more pages you have, the easier it is for Google to find you in those search engines, so you want to expand? Or again, people are getting to your website, but they're bouncing. Are you just looking for ways to increase the time that they spend on your website in hopes that they book directly with you? So all of those different things as it relates to your goals, in addition to everything else we covered, will drive you into what options you should be looking for. So the three different type of options that you have are your do-it-yourself websites, your templated themed websites, and then the custom website. So the do-it-yourself website is usually, it's easy drag and drop editor with some design considerations. So Wix, GoDaddy, Squarespace, those are very simple solutions. They're usually, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks a month. And within a couple of hours, you can have your website. Now, usually what that means is you're completely responsible for selecting your theme, finding a theme, loading your content, learning how to use their platform with their WYSIWYG drag and drop. The other advantages, again, low cost, there's low development time, there is some support. They do offer hosting, and usually they're backed by a very big brand, GoDaddy, Wix, Squarespace. Those people have a lot of investors, a lot of different cooks in the kitchen. Now, while the cost and maybe the ease of flexibility for you to drag and drop and move things around is extremely attractive, there are some disadvantages that come into play, obviously. They're not industry specific. So a great example of this is GoDaddy. GoDaddy's foundation was off of hosting and domain registration. Now they offer a website solution. So how much attention are they putting into their website solution versus what they know their bread and butter is? And then from that kind of helps you maybe get an understanding of the type of support you can expect or challenges you may run into. Or maybe they don't tailor to your individual needs. So when you call GoDaddy for help and you're trying to drive more traffic to your website, and obviously we're in the lodging space, they don't care too much about lodging. They're going to tell you what you can do within their system. They may not be thinking outside of the box from a strategic standpoint because that's not their concern. They're just trying to support you and using their tool. If you have anything that goes beyond that scope, they're not concerned with. They might be slow in addressing major changes. So the challenge here is they're a volume-based, companies more often, which is obviously a result of their cost. So when big changes come into play, they impact a larger volume of people at a time. So they have to make sure the testing's in place, the quality and assurance is in place, being aware of what to do in the event an update doesn't go well. So all of those things take time. Maybe it's poor customer service. They only offer email support, which can be difficult at times. Maybe when you call them, they're overseas, there's language barriers, so all those things can be challenging. One of the bigger things that, comes up is just not having flexibility from a marketing standpoint. And we've seen this on a variety of different occasions to where they have a Wix website, Squarespace, where again, easy for them to deploy, everything's set up friendly. They made that change, but they're still not seeing the results that they want from a conversion standpoint or visibility as far as people finding their site. So then they reach out to an agency, and then the agency says, hey, well, there's some things that we normally would do that would put your website to the next level that I can't do on your website today. And a lot of that just requires back-end access, which when you have these particular DIY websites, you don't get that type of access. So not to say that they can't do marketing or SEO on your website, your agency just might be limited in what they can do, meaning you may not get the full results or see the full impact that they can provide. Affordable, out the gate easy, have their challenges. Templated websites are the next thing that we'll look at here. The templated websites are usually pre-designed themes that include basic functionality of a lodging website. So usually these agencies do all the legwork ahead of time. They go and find themes and templates that they Q&A, that they make sure are responsive, that they're SEO friendly, that they work from a speed and performance standpoint. They make sure that they offer some type of customization so they can be unique. And then they usually give you anywhere between 5 all the way up to 20 different options, and you go to them and say, hey, I like theme A. They give you theme A. You pay a monthly cost, and then in 6 months you say, you know what, I want to change to theme B. No additional cost. You have multiple themes. So a templated theme-based website, again, takes the guesswork away from you, so you don't have to worry about it. You trust the experts, and then they implement those custom designs to make sure it matches and ties up with your brand. So with those, you usually get technology updates, so they're going to make sure your back end is updated. You're going to have a secure website. Any type of browser issues and bugs and things like that are always fixed to you on an ongoing basis. You don't ever have to worry about it. They do offer ongoing support. They're usually more feature-oriented. That way they can differentiate the different types of websites based off of feature needs and usability and what you're trying to get. And they also offer the hosting component. Some of those disadvantages when it comes to a template, they may all look the same. So again, for those people who, the look isn't maybe as important, but you do want something affordable, quick to deploy, something you can manage, and that's a way to go. Also, when it comes to finding a vendor as it relates to look, just try and see the different options that they have. Have them share examples of client websites, because what you will find is even though they may be using the same theme, when it comes to your unique photos, the color palette, your logo, it is in reality a unique look. There might be limitations on customization, so when you have a templated website, you're working within a pre-designed layout and a format and a framework. So you may want something in a specific place. Your vendor may say, that's outside of the scope of the templated solution. Here's how we would recommend addressing it there. So there's different workarounds, different limitations. You may not be flexible. You may not own your own content, so it's important. And this is also similar to a DIY website, a do-it-yourself website, is if you ever cancel or you quit the subscription model that you have with them, who owns the content, and do you have a plan to take that content from the site before you close their account? And then, again, slower to get updates for specific needs. So again, it's a templated model, means they're all laid out and kind of structured the same way. As you need that custom tweak, the specific thing for your business or your property that's different from everyone else who may have that template, it may just take a little bit longer for that feature to be deployed. The last thing as it relates to the different types of websites that you have, custom websites. Custom websites are, they're a dying breed, if you will. And more or less the reason is people are looking at the upfront cost that a custom website has. A do-it-yourself website and a templated website, those are usually monthly, so it's easier for you to swallow $100 a month, $200 a month than, oh God, I gotta pay $5,000 upfront out the gate and then slowly see myself recoup the cost over time. So they're a dying breed. However, we see a lot of those for those people who truly compete from the brand recognition standpoint. People always comment on their website and how it really represents the property, gives them a true feel of what it feels like to be there before they even get there. Usually those people who have obviously maybe higher revenue margins and things like that. So you get that unique design, you get the personalized experience because you work directly with the designer, you work directly with the web developer to really develop that overall look and concept of the website. It obviously emphasizes your brand because it's custom, so it's unique and focuses on your specific needs. So are you trying to drive more bookings? Are you trying to attract more weddings? Did you just open a winery and you're really trying to gear towards the winery or the restaurant? And at the same time, custom websites are usually done from a professional agency. A lot of the times it's part of the relationship. It's easier to hold an agency accountable than it is your best friend. And then also under deliverability. So if they don't deliver what they say they deliver with an agency, it's easier for you to go back and say, hey, I'm holding you to the terms that we agreed upon. Not so easy when it's your friend or your partner or something like that. So obviously custom websites have disadvantages as well. They tend to cost a little bit more. They take longer to deploy. Again, you go through the design phase, you approve mock-ups, you have conversations, you go through the build phase, modifications and changes come from there, and then you go through the launch. So it's a longer process, but again, you're getting exactly what you want that you know is going to tailor to your business needs. And then in some cases, it may not include hosting. So usually that means you're buying the website and you're supporting or providing the platform. Again, as it relates to finding a good agency, make sure that if they're not going to host it for you, that they can recommend where you should host it because they're going to know what's best for their website to perform rather than that being your responsibility. So those are the three type of websites, again, that you have options to. I'll throw in here that Restream does a flavor of both, and what I mean by that is the themed, templated, and as well as custom. So we do have those different options for you. And then before I let you guys go here, a couple things just so you guys can have. This will be a part of the presentation at the end. I have a new website checklist. These are just some questions you should ask yourself before you are buying a new website or updating your website. These are things that will hopefully remind you of the importance of different things, like does my website include traffic, tracking? Why is that important? Because you need to know how it performs so you can make the appropriate adjustments. The other thing in here that we have is a definitive guide. So we do definitive guides about 1 or 2 every quarter. Post them on our website. They're free. All you have to do is drop your name and email, and we'll send it directly to you via email. But this guide will walk you through what it takes to really build a high converting website. So again, regardless of the solution, that guide highlights the different things that you're going to want to be thinking about to make sure you're getting the most out of your website. And then lastly here are a couple things. Again, my contact information, links to additional resources. I do want to encourage you guys to reach out to us for a free website evaluation or analysis. It doesn't cost you anything. We go through your website, give it a nice Q&A, tell you things you can update right now, opportunities you can take advantage of in the future, or again, just say, hey, passing with flying colors, you don't need to make any more adjustments. And then lastly, and forgive me, but I do want to remind you for our next webinar, is it time to switch to a cloud-based PMS? So this talks about your reservation software, your booking engine, and again, just trying to understand, similar to your website, when should I be making this change? What should I be thinking about? That webinar is Thursday, November 16th. You can sign up directly on our website. Again, I want to thank all of you guys for joining today and sitting through my webinar. We'll be sending this out via email. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and have a great week. Thank you.